It doesn't matter how many polyglots and how many language learners you're meeting. Everybody has a different method. Probably your method is different from mine. And still, we somehow manage to learn languages. Everyone takes a different route. At the end of the day, we are managing in different ways to reach the same goal. However, there are some things which are always the same. It doesn't matter whom I'm talking to, it doesn't matter whose content I'm watching. These are things that for me are non-negotiables. Number one, let's get straight on with it, is input. I've even created a new channel and you have been loving it so far. I've created a channel where I share Italian slow input. So I speak in Italian, which is my native language. Che cos'è il brain rot? Questa pausa caffè mi sono detta potrei registrare un piccolo video. Non so se vedete, questa tazza è un po' scheggiata. Questa luce così è veramente una figata per il video. È molto figa, è molto bella. And the reason why I have created it is because I myself love watching this type of videos. Today I was getting ready and I was listening to a Spanish girl, and she is a small creator. She's so sweet. Input is everything you hear and you read and all the language that you get from outside. And what I love about input is that it's endless, basically, on the internet, offline, magazines, books, newspapers, billboards, you travel, you meet people. Input is every single person speaking to you, every object with text on it. And what I love about input is that you can access so many different levels, so many difficulties, and you can adjust. And I've spoken so many times on the channel about comprehensible input. According to Krashen, this is comprehensible input. Something which is slightly more difficult than what you can understand. Imagine you have to do something and you have no instructions. There you go. IKEA table, IKEA desk. Go on, do it. Assemble it without any blood instructions. Imagine assembling letters, words without any kind of instruction. With input, we get to see what language should look like. We get to see what our desk should look like. Maybe we are not able to reproduce that same effect immediately because there are some limits. We are limited. We have the influence of our own language. The second element I always see in language learning, and it has always helped me learn a language, is motivation. And it's not the moment you wake up and you just feel super energized and ready to learn a new language. Is having a serious reason to continue. And the reason could be, I love the language. Every morning I wake up, I have this routine. I love doing this. That's a good reason. I have an exam. That's a very good reason as well. When we do not have any reason for it, at some point there have to be resilience and also discipline. And sometimes life gets hard. These are a problem if we don't actually have a proper reason to study the language. Maybe my priorities at the moment are not getting fired, feeding my kids, spending time with my friends, sleeping, watching a TV show because it's relaxing and it doesn't vex me, it doesn't stress me like language learning. So there has to be some kind of reason why you say, I could do 20 minutes of, I don't know, German. I could do those 15 minutes of Italian. There has to be something that drives you at some point, and this could change over time. It's just like going to school and you're studying because of the grades, so you have a reason, even though you'd rather not in that case. And then you just continue, and as soon as you're quitting school or you're graduating, all of those subjects, you're not even touching them anymore. And you're not forced to learn about geography, physics, maths, but some people continue learning about those things. Some people continue learning about the language they were studying, or maybe chemistry, anthropology, literature, because there is another reason. And it wasn't just the grades. The final element which really makes sense to me is repetition. And it's not the same as input because this is a very common problem. If you open my Instagram saves, this is what it looks like. And it doesn't matter what stage of my life, of the month, of the year I'm at. Recipes, makeup looks, tips for language learning. I love saving these. And I say, oh, that's nice. That's that little nugget of truth that I needed, for example, to improve how I do the laundry. And then I say, I'll keep it for the next time. And then I forget about it. And then I continue saving. For example, if you're taking notes and then you never go back to these, it's just like the Instagram saves. What's the point? What's the sense? Because you'll probably forget it. Our brains say, oh, you needed this today. You needed this information yesterday. You actually needed that also a week ago. Damn, I might as well remember that because you're needing it. Putting all that hard work to retrieve some piece of information, for example, how you say table in Polish. So if you needed it once, you searched it, okay. You needed it again, you searched it, all right. The third time, you look at the table and you say stool, and you know it's stool. You have needed that for so many times that your brain says, oh, okay, I'll remember that. It's just like when you have new keys for your house and the first time you look at the keys and you're like, which one? And then at some point, it's just automatic because you use them all the time. And this is something that we neglect, but just repeat stuff. I try to find multiple ways to make it entertaining, but the truth is, whether it is entertaining or not, if you're repeating stuff, it's helpful. This is like the holy trinity in language learning for me, and doesn't matter what language I have studied so far, it doesn't matter at what stage of my life, the level doesn't matter as well. Like, all of these three were essential. At the end of the day, this is a very ugly truth to say, but language learning is not difficult, and sometimes we make it so complex, we complicate it so much, because it is actually very repetitive, very boring, and very easy at its core. And we are just trying to find fun and nice ways to work around the idea that we just repeat stuff. We have to get a lot of that stuff. At some point, we start swaying, and if our motivation sways, that's problematic. So, yeah. Let me know if you agree with these three. Let me know if there's anything more that you'd love to add. I'm very curious, and also, this is my very first video after a longer break. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you want to see more content, I leave you here my channel, I leave you here my Italian channel, and also this video, which in my opinion is a very interesting take on language learning as well. So I'll see you there. Thank you so much. Bye.